Along with Highgate and others, the lesser-known All Saints Cemetery was consecrated in 1840. Before the population boom of the Industrial Revolution, most Londoners were buried in small parish churchyards, which were quickly becoming overcrowded. Inspired by the larger cemeteries of Paris, efforts were made and funds raised for the creation of the magnificent 7 cemeteries of London. All Saints Cemetery, now known as Nunhead, is situated in the southeastern borough of the City of London, and its first grave was dug in October 1840. Although popular with the wealthy, Nunhead wasn't without its problems. Management issues, embezzlement, and local area developments all plagued the cemetery's growth. Real problems began at the time of the First World War. Large and lavish funerals fell out of favour, and the cost of maintenance and groundwork increased. By the 1960s, maintenance of the site was winding down. Vegetation and scrub began to overtake, and in 1969 the decision was made by United Cemeteries Limited to close the cemetery. The cemetery was boarded, locked and abandoned. Over the next 15 years, neglect and vandalism took its toll on the Victorian marvel. The biggest loss to vandalism were Nunhead's buildings, the 2 gatehouses and the chapel. The Anglican chapel, which stood pride of place in the cemetery, was designed by architect Thomas Little and eventually fell victim to arson. Local residents with family interred campaigned for the London Borough of Southwark to take ownership of the site, which they eventually did in 1975 for the sum of £1, and in 1981 the voluntary organisation the Friends of Nunhead Cemetery was created for conservation of what had become London's site of nature conservation. Today the cemetery is open to the public to enjoy. Its unique overgrown headstones and wildlife are popular with visitors and local dog walkers. The renovated mausoleum has open days to be explored, and its more famous residents' tombs can be visited once again. With such a history and variety of burials, the different headstones reveal their own messages. Religious and superstitious symbolism can be found all over the cemetery. The main entrance to Nunhead has columns displaying downturned torches, a Greek symbol meaning life extinguished. This can also be found inside the cemetery. And on the railings you'll find an hourglass with devil and angel wings, representing the sands of time, and reminds us that time waits for no one. The most common marking is IHS, Iesus Hominum Salvator, Greek for Jesus, Saviour of Man, first appearing on tombs in the 1760s. Another common symbol is that of clasped hands, denoting unity after death and reunification in the next life. Faith is often represented with an open Bible. Anchors can be a Christian symbol of hope. Often set among rocks, it can also be a symbol of a seafaring person, an attribute of St. Nicholas, patron saint of seamen. The broken chain stands for the cessation of life. If lucky enough to die at an old age, you may find your grave adorned with an urn, sometimes draped with cloth. Many angels and Celtic crosses are scattered around the grounds. The angels often missing limbs from years of neglect. The lily is a symbol of purity and innocence. It was a popular funeral flower in Victorian times, though many flowers can be found with varying meanings. Doves with olive branches stem from the story of Noah and the Great Flood. When the dove returned to the ark with an olive branch in its beak, it was a sign of God's forgiveness. And finally, the broken column, representing a life cut short.